And we are live. This is Thoughts, and we are back. Well, that didn't last long. I realized that I did not do the... yeah, here we are. Yes, I'm going to try not to restate anything I have said or will say. Please stop telling me about that. I realize high CPU usage, but there's not really anything. Nothing's going to happen about that. Can you tell it? I'll look that up later if I can tell it to not tell me. Anyway, spoilers for the show leading up to this point. And the video is long, but it is going to have time codes for the various sections. And I'm going to try it again to check every so often that it is recording. As I was saying, which you may or may not have heard, is that we're starting with the intro. Now, there's not a lot to say this time, but with the cast, we have a couple of changes. John Cryer Harper meets Candy, and so yeah, you know, he's a lot happier when he's with Candy than usual, and you know, he does try to still make sure that, you know, Jake isn't going to be hurt by it, which Jake, of course, as usual, does not seem to care about. Now, let me just make sure I am sitting in the right position. And Jake, Charlie expresses it as he's no longer little and cute, he's old and in the way. Jake used to be a chick magnet, but now he'll give away that Charlie's only talking to that woman because he's hoping they'll have sex. You know, he wants to eat fried chicken, but he doesn't remember where any of the cluckies are to buy it. He's more sulky and difficult than he was in Season 2, somewhat like he sometimes was in Season 1, and he's more gross than in previous seasons. And that is all I have to say that's specific to. So, let us dive into the first episode. Again, I mean, I say this every video, but I really love this season. I'm fairly certain that I know I watched at least some of the next season because I remember some of what happens, but that might be it for what I've watched, and from then on out, you know, it's uncharted territory for me, so I'm excited about that. Now, that brings us to the episode. Weekend in Bangkok with 2 Olympic gymnasts. Now, let's see. Evelyn actually said that the blind date can give amazing blowjobs to her son. You know, that's, yeah, you know, gradually she gets somewhat less classy. You know, very early on she was fairly classy, and gradually, you know, that's not going. 1 second. It's often easier to make characters funny that, you know, behave like a-holes and such. Goody two-shoes are sometimes harder to make funny. That's your solution for everything. Call the guy. 1 second. There we go. Yeah. It's your whining that makes me want to hang myself. Charlie cannot let go of how where did the ladder come from? Have I always had a ladder? And Alan falls off the ladder. How very Married with Children, although there it would happen, I think, 5 times in an episode. Alan got so hurt falling down. Alan is way too easy to talk into letting Charlie handle Jake. And Alan sneezes and it's painful because of his neck. It really, this episode is very honest about how easily you can get badly hurt and how much everything sucks when you're badly hurt. You know, just no matter the tiniest little inconvenience sometimes, is, what would have been the tiniest little inconvenience if you weren't, if nothing had happened to you, is now just, an endless mountain of, excuse me. And, that didn't get voice typed properly. I think what I said is, I love Alan screaming at Charlie so hard that he punctures a lung. And he has trouble with the door. Let's see. The doorknob because of his hands. And then he gets knocked over by Judith opening the door. What happened to you? Well, most recently, I was hit in the head by a door. But before that, I was fixing the satellite dish on the roof, and I kind of fell. Why didn't you just call the guy? I remembered it as that being said more times. I think I might have been mistaking it for Married with Children, where they would really hammer that one home. I appreciate that they don't try to top Married with Children. It's at least at this point a much more subdued show than later seasons Married with Children. But you're not gonna, if you top that, you're probably gonna go so far that it just ends up being ridiculous. And I'm not saying that it has to be credible, but I think Married with Children really nailed. They went as far as you could go with stuff like that. Jake is being a real smartass already this season, and Alan tries to flip off Judith. 1 second. There we go. And Jake says something about my life stinks. Don't worry, you're just a kid. It's gonna get much worse. And Charlie gives up trying to deal with Jake immediately. Just, you said you wanted to deal with him. I didn't know he was gonna be impossible. You talk about me like I'm not even here. Keep it up and you won't be. Excuse me. Excuse me. I really love the black guy staring at Charlie who tries to smile back. It's a lot like in Road Trip. And then he shouts at Jake and everyone stares at him. Alan's with his pants off and Evelyn walks in with the date. Why didn't you just call the guy? You want to know why I didn't call the guy? Because you needed to call the guy. It's an adjustment any idiot can do. And yes, this idiot fell off the roof, but only after fixing it. And, Evelyn is like, well, I'll give... I think... I forget, she's giving one of them the other person's number. And, the blind date walks off and she goes, do you stay up at nights thinking of ways to embarrass me? Of course Evelyn makes it about her, and she doesn't even try to help Alan. Maybe you could say, well, maybe she doesn't have, maybe it should be, someone with a lot of muscle mass trying to get Alan back up, and maybe it should be more than one. But she doesn't even say she'll call someone and send them over to help. She just says, you're really embarrassing me, and then she leaves. Also, as if, one thing is the physical situation that Alan is currently in, but also Evelyn doesn't even stop to think, maybe he's kind of embarrassed too. Maybe this wasn't exactly how he hoped this would go either. Jake keeps managing to talk Charlie into doing what he wants because he whines enough. This is one of the episodes that really hammer home how annoying Jake is this season. You're not gonna like the answer. And the Charlie's, there's this girl who's like, I have one just his age, and Charlie's like, talking to her, and the idea of a play date comes up, and then Jake goes like, I don't want to play date with some stupid kid just so you can have sex with her. Right after he got the game he was whining to get. I really love Alan struggling with the pain medication. See, that's really those things. I realize that things do exist that can help you when you have, limited mobility and such, but I really feel like the moment that he clearly went to the hospital. Why didn't they just immediately say, you're gonna have a bunch of trouble with this, this, and this. Here are some things that, other patients have used and had a lot of, had good experiences using. What fresh childproof hell is this? And then he slips and falls. Jake keeps saying, whatever, and Charlie's having chest pains again. And... oh, right, yeah. Charlie tries to take Jake back to Judith's, since Alan can't take care of Jake, and Charlie really doesn't want to take care of Jake, and he's ringing the bell, and he's looking in through the window. I can tell you're hiding behind the couch. And then, he runs off chasing Jake, and she peeks out. It's clear she does not want to have to deal with the kid more than absolutely necessary, even if it means leaving him with Charlie. Mixing those pills, that was a really bad idea. Not if you're trying to die. And then Charlie sees Jake playing the game. Hey, how many of those pills you got? Yet another great season opener for those keeping count. That's 3 out of 3 so far. And that brings us to Principal Gallagher's lesbian lover. At the chiropractic, at his office, he's Dunlop, the huge African American guy, is like, I was having sex with my wife last night, and I was like, oh my God, is she okay? It's okay, she was on top. He's not even hurt or upset. He's like, yeah, don't worry, I'm not an idiot. And how many pain pills did you take? Let's see. 1 before I fell asleep. 1 when I woke up. 7. It's not good to treat strong pain medications like Skittles. And Dunlop falls onto Alan. And then, Alan's cell phone was off, and, hello, Judith. Anyway, they have a couple of lines. You're not the only one under pressure, Judith! And Charlie doesn't pick up the phone and thinks it's fine. And, Jake is sent home for bad behavior. It's about time. At your age, I've been arrested twice. And you are someone to emulate, clearly. And Charlie's got all these video games, and I think it's Alan talking about how badly Jake behaved. How awful. These are all multiplayer games. We no longer live in a Porky's movie. I was about to say, that's what that sounds like. Okay, in my defense, I really didn't want to. Charlie so does not want to be the receptionist. The office opens at 8. O'clock? No, degrees. Fahrenheit or Celsius? First one, then the other. I'm just stupid and gullible and annoying. Don't forget annoying. Charlie stayed up all night drinking coffee. Didn't sleep. You gotta wonder how long he's gonna keep burning that penis at both ends. And, not allowed to pee on the deck. We're not? And peeing at the seagulls. And Berta scares Jake off making fun of girls with big boobs. Charlie wanted to use personal jetpacks for travel and sell donuts out of the back of the car while everyone is trying slowly. He always tries to get out of uncomfortable situations. He doesn't want, Alan faces this every day, and Charlie's like, we should really, there's got to be a way, what do you make money off this? Or, this is just intolerable for all the time. Charlie, listen to me very carefully. You must not touch the patients. This is not me talking. It is the state of California. Let me be completely clear. No touching the patients. What did I just say? Charlie's behaving so ADHD in the office because of the coffee. Alan, stop talking to the big-breasted woman. It is not working out for you. And in walks an attractive patient, and Charlie can't handle it. Alan, stop trying to tell her how much you empathize. This is really going badly. What the hell is wrong with you? I don't know. I was a bottle baby. I'll be back after lunch. And then we see Charlie and the masseuse making a lot of money. And Alan's talking about mammocentric. Another coinage of mine. Hasn't really permeated the cultural zeitgeist. And they're like, yeah, and she's like, you're a horrible little man. Okay, if this is gonna degrade into name calling, then let's just stop arguing about it here. And we'll leave the consequences, the deciding of the consequences to the principal. Fine. And then, she comes out and she's also a large person. Oh my God, my boy's gonna get the chair. You turned my business into a brothel. I leave for 3 hours and you turned my business into a brothel. I don't want to talk about it. I never want to talk about it. And Alan describes, Jake didn't get that high of a penalty, considering. I, on the other hand, have been asked never to set foot again on the grounds of Woodward Elementary School. There's talk of a civil suit. And Principal Gallagher's lesbian lover might be coming by at midnight to beat me up. And carpet burns and a bite mark. And Charlie's talking about a slow date that doesn't lead to sex. That's why God gave us Cinemax and an opposable thumb. I quite like how when Charlie talks about these things, his lifestyle, he really does bring up God. A bunch, There's the episode where he's like, things are, I think the episode is called My Tongue is Meat, and he's like in the restaurant making a big deal out of, Simeon having to eat vegan crap, and I realize not all vegan food is crap. Just all of the stuff that I've personally tasted. Actually, I guess, are the non-dairy milk, is that vegan? I guess that is. Okay, there's some of that that I like. But that's the only stuff. Anyway, he's talking about how, he's describing the kind of person he is, and then he says, like God in his infinite wisdom made me to be. He really does like bringing God into these kinds of, Is there enough distance here? Is that okay? I apologize for having to do this, but I'm gonna have to adjust the camera. So look away. Ignore. Do not pay attention to the man behind the curtain. And that didn't help at all. Am I doing something wrong? I guess it can't. If I do this, that, and then this, that also did not help at all. Is it? No, it's still hanging. I think. Yeah, it's still. Yeah, this is not going to work out. Let me think. If the... I guess if I push it this way, and then that... That actively hurt. So it must be this way. And then that way. Let's see. Yeah, that definitely didn't. There we go. That's better. But it's not quite good enough, is it? And then if I do it like this, yeah, I think that's gonna work. Okay, so go. And Charlie's guessing what's wrong with the with the women and the inflatable. And Charlie's talking about what Alan will have if he plays it slow and takes time before reeling in the fish. You know what you're gonna have? A tired fish that thinks you're gay. Do you drink when you're babysitting my son? Not at first, but he wears me down. I love Charlie imitating taking a sander to Alan's crotch. And then Evelyn, Rose, and Berta are waiting for Alan at the breakfast table, and Charlie comes up behind him. Am I being whacked? It was discussed, but I was overruled. I'm just waiting for my toasters to pop. There we go. And Evelyn is like, we're all here because we care about you, Alan. I do. I do. Alan, when I first met you, I didn't care for you at all. You were a whiny, petty control freak. And now? Oh, now it doesn't bother me so much. And then, Charlie's like, Alan, I think what Rose is trying to say is, no, that wasn't what I was trying to say. Okay. If that was what I was trying to say, that's what I would have said. I really love how forceful Rose is with Charlie in this, yeah. And, as soon as Jake is out of earshot, Judith is happy with Alan. At first they have to pretend. She's like, he's not ready. You said you were going to have him ready. I love how awkward it is that they're all standing there and Judith sees it. And they all speak in unison. Hi Judith. Bye Judith. And Charlie got Alan twins, and they wave and spin around like ads on a porn site or something. I'm told. And before they go skinny dipping together, of course Alan brings up chlorine and algae. And Alan complains about him paying. Everything made of wood that's outside requires upkeep. Except for trees, they seem to have it down. And Judith keeps pushing Alan's head to the pool. There was a bright light and I saw my dead grandma. And Judith is like, Alan, do you really want to have this conversation? I don't, but apparently my mouth has a mind of its own. Let's put your mouth to better use. I can't go back underwater, Judith. I love Rose's monologue to Charlie about love hurting. Though I've been with other women, I just didn't learn anything. No, the mistake was sitting in that hot tub without any clothes on. I can feel mushrooms growing in my crack. Not to be a killjoy, and I do find the joke funny, but when someone tells you get out of my home, regardless of whether you just had sex or anything else, regardless of whether you were married and no longer are or not, that's when you get out of their home. And Charlie to Alan as they watch porn with the twins. Too late now, Alan. You could have been delivering that pizza. And Alan was attacked by the neighbor's dog. Or possibly a coyote. It was dark, and he was crying. And of course Alan with Judith went badly. He just never gives up. He keeps having some hope that maybe... Now, that brings us to... your dismissive attitude towards boobs. Whoops. One other thing. The mastication talk was already funny, but this was when it became hilarious. Like, just, you know, he's like, masticating. Don't worry, not that other thing. What other thing? You know. I know. What do you know? What was the other thing? What other thing? And Berta pretends she was willing to kill Alan but wants the money up front. I love how white trash Berta's family is. He can't live there because it's technically a crime scene. And, you know, Alan to Berta wants to move in. Oh, you want an answer now? I need my privacy. For what? You know. You're gonna quit drinking? Don't be ridiculous. I'm gonna quit waking up. Alan tells Charlie to go and tell Berta to leave, and okay, I was bluffing. I love Charlie and Alan talking about Alan's status as a house guest. I love Berta manipulating the brothers. I spend all day looking at crappy toilets and those Rorschach tests you call bed sheets. It's the power of observation. And Berta continues to manipulate at the table. Don't put me in the middle, I love you both. So are we really out of meatloaf, or are you just saying that to piss him off? And, you know, Alan is like, you know, has to write on a piece of paper how much he can spend on home. My shoes cost more than this. Well, Mom, you have a lot of shoes. The ones that I'm wearing. And Berta wants to move into Alan's room. I love Alan and Charlie both trying to keep from telling the other that they want to stay together. And then we realized Berta made the whole thing up so that she could live with Charlie. There was no, you know, white trash family emergency this time. I love getting to see the awful place Alan could have moved into. And, you know, he's talking about the stuff that needs to be done. Excuse me. The stuff that he feels needs to be done. And, you know, there's like an airplane that passes so loud, you know, the noise of it is so loud we can't hear what he's saying. And as it's all the way done passing, and of course some bleach to get those blood stains out of the tub. Wow. That's why he can afford it. Someone was murdered in the bathroom. Or possibly they just pulled a piano teacher. We called it Mr. Pinky. We've been in bed 3 days. I'm guessing the cat's fed and whatever's left of the fish is in the kitty litter. Thank you. I'll see you later. Did you just say thank you? I said, I think I love you, and you said thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, wow, that... 1 second, my back did not like that one bit. Maybe I need to lean back. And high CPU usage once again. Let's see. You couldn't care less, could you? That's not true. I could care less. A lot less. Wow. That could have been ugly. I quite like Charlie teaching Jake about girls. And Jake keeps explaining who made the cupcake. Then you just shell out some bucks for a nice ho-ho. Cupcake, are we talking baked goods or some new hip-hop slang? I could have done 20 minutes just on licking the icing. Nevertheless. And of course Charlie had to look up the word misogynist. I'm not a misogynist, I'm a prosogynist. And Berta disproves Charlie saying that he doesn't have women in his life who do nothing but mistreat him. And Charlie's talking about whether he would actually throw himself in front of the bus to save Jake. I'm just making a point here. And Jake is pastry whipped. And Rose keeps going, Marco, getting increasingly annoyed when Charlie doesn't go polo. Marco. Rose, I'm not in the mood. Marco. Rose, please. Marco. And Rose talking about whether or not Charlie's a misogynist. Wow, yeah. Did somebody say you weren't? And Charlie has to look up Oedipal, of course. Later, that didn't happen here, but later doesn't Rose give him a book about Oedipus, and then she's spoiling the ending, and I'm looking forward to that episode. I guess I'll just have to look for a woman like that. Marco? And Charlie sees Evelyn's face on Colleen. He does take the situation better than the protagonist of Open Your Eyes. Protagonist. There we go. Damn, my carpal tunnel's acting up. They snuck a hand joke past censors. I really love Alan's smile when Charlie turns around and his double entendres. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was so impotent. You forget one thing. What's that? I can still run. And there's a second or two where Alan's like, is he bluffing? Nope, he's not bluffing, and runs away. And Charlie goes to Evelyn's and she's like, what do you need, or something like that. Why are you here? Is probably what she says. You've permanently screwed me up for about women. Oh, well, sorry about that. And then he does get to go in, and she's doing yoga. Could your dog possibly face upwards while we talk? Oh God, what's the mutt doing now? When we were a baby, we called him Mr. Pinky. No, wait, Mr. Pinky was the cat. What did we call your penis? Mr. Pee-Pee, that's what we called it. You can see how I mistook that for Mr. Pinky. Do you want some advice? Yeah. What do I do, Uncle Charlie? Jake so badly does not want advice from Alan. And Charlie's talking about Mr. P. It's what my mother used to call, don't make me explain this, Rose. I love Rose trying to dumb it down. Isn't your long-term emotional and mental health more important than a few fleeting orgasms? It's not even more important than one. And Rose is talking about Charlie only trusting her of all the women he knows. Personally, I find that very flattering, while professionally it's deeply disturbing. And how Charlie bucks like a chicken when he hears the phone call due to Rose, and immediately we see that, yes, she meant for that to be part of the effect. I was just ordering a little chicken. That's entirely accurate. And then Jake is making his own cupcakes, taking matters into his own hands. The metaphor is now complete. Anybody want to lick the beater? And then Charlie clucks when the egg timer dings as well. And that brings us to Hi, Mr. Hornone. Hi, Mr. Hornone. This is one of my absolute favorite episodes. Jodie Lynn O'Keefe makes such a great goth. She can be so creepy and cool. I don't think there's a single... Everywhere I've seen her, I've really liked her. She's good in Halloween H2O. She's so good in Prison Break. She's awesome here. Just, yeah. And Isabella is talking about a demon to she who cannot be named. Why? Is it hard to pronounce? And then he's talking about it. We have a student like that in class. We just call him Rusty. Alan is so uncomfortable around Isabella. I'm sorry, we don't smoke in the kitchen. Charlie didn't mind. Well, Charlie's lungs aren't always on the same page as his penis. And, Charlie is on, she says something about, like, Chokoth or something. I didn't get it written down. And, Alan's like, and Charlie's like, it's the snake tattoo. Her vagina is called Linda. I love Alan trying to imagine the moves in bed like a paint shaker. Nevertheless, I love Isabella suddenly being behind him and he covers his nipples. Why are you taking my hair? It's a quirk. I used to collect stamps. People like you have been oppressing people like me for centuries. I find that hard to believe, since people like me have typically been food for people like you. Who are people like you? Those whose minds have been open to a reality you could never comprehend. Do they all collect hair? And then Alan cuts himself shaving twice in a short space of time, and Isabella chuckles off screen. And he clearly hears it. I forgot that this early in the episode we actually have introduced Evelyn, or the devil, and which was what the voice typing got at first, that she wants them to go to a Wizard of Oz themed costume party. I had forgotten that didn't just show up at the very end of the episode. The ending is really hard to forget. It's incredibly memorable, but it's actually set up very early on. Charlie, Mom has something to ask you. Hi, Mom. No. And let's see. I love Alan suggesting what Isabella might consider out of control. And Charlie drinks the secret elixir, getting a little fuzzy around the edges. Got any crackers? And the sisters start chanting, anoint him. And then he starts singing Hooked on a Feeling. love Berta's reaction to Alan's face. And Alan describes Isabella, and it kind of sounds like he's describing Berta instead. That should help. Maybe I'll do this for a while. And here we go, I think. Yeah. But maybe not. Now. Yeah, it sounds like he's describing Berta. Oh, whoops. And then he's like, okay, you might like her. I love Berta leaving immediately after meeting Isabella. I love the brothers getting shocked at each other's faces. Charlie looks like a zombie. I mean, early stages, he's just barely decomposing, but dead. Definitely. And Charlie, shows he's got a pentagram on his stomach. Am I Jewish now? Okay, I need to slow down the translation. Slow down? You need to drive a stake through its heart. And Alan wants to get help from the Vatican. So if I give him my soul, I get 3 wishes, right? He's a lord of the underworld, not a genie. Oh, okay. Can I talk to a genie? I'm old enough to choose my own religion. And Alan says satanic rituals are fine in Hollywood. I love Charlie's stare when Isabella says about their souls intertwined. And, he had sex with 13 women, and she's like, did you really think it was just because of your boyish charm? I just figured after the first 3 or 4, word of mouth started to spread. 13 women? Personal best for me. He's proud that he had sex with 13 women, even as, things were clearly, really bad. And I love how indifferent Charlie is to the first. I think, doesn't she mention 3, and the first 2 are just like, well, I mean, okay, if I was living like, hundreds of years ago, okay, those would bother me. And then, your manhood would shrivel into a useless husk. I gotta fold here, Alan. I mean, he's not even like, he's apologetic. He's like, I'm sorry, Alan, but that's more than I, that's, hey, when she's shriveling your husk, you get a vote. I love Isabella and Evelyn together. Isabella's suddenly all awkward and nervous. Evidently, the Wicked Witch of the West has seniority over Gilgamesh and his followers. Holland Taylor can really pull off that look, too. Wait, what about the shriveled husk? I have no idea what he's talking about. I love that that's how they ended. It's not that, she doesn't like turn to Evelyn and say, I promise I will remove the curse. No, she's just pretending she doesn't know and getting out of there as quickly as she can. And Evelyn made them dress up as her flying monkeys, of course. Fly, my pets. I thought that it was maybe fly, my pretties, but apparently she says neither. She just says, fly, fly, at the end of the monologue. And, I think at other points in the monologue, she calls them my pretties or my pets or something. And this was, of course, the Halloween special. I think this is the only one that is in the seasons that I watched, but then again, maybe the next season is as far as I watched. I hope that there's more. I mean, they if they're this good at it when they were making the show, it's a real waste to only do one. Let's see. There we go. Sleep tight, Puddin' Pop. Rose sat down and pretended she didn't know they were coming in with the cake. Is this chocolate fudge cake? You tell us, you brought it. I love Charlie's face. Charlie's in bed and Jake is like, I think Is it maybe like his Game Boys? Uncle Charlie, did you see my Game Boy? No. What about you, Rose? And just Charlie's face, just, oh no. He did say he was gonna drink until the night made sense, and then he tried to, so yeah. And Berta eats leftover birthday cake and drinks vodka. And Charlie's gonna leave town so Rose won't hunt him down. Hey, birthday girl, get anything good last night? Did somebody splurge on Katrina? Yes, I remember parts of that show as well. I'll give almost any sitcom a chance, even when it has. And I mean, it's the same guy who did. It's created by the same guy who also created like Just Shoot Me. Yeah. Which was an awesome show. And which I will definitely do videos on if I can ever find a complete set online and on a web store that ships to my country. And Berta wants to give Rose powerful glue. I like the word dad better than the word father. I bet if Germany had been called the Dadland instead of the Fatherland, it would have been a friendly country. Charlie, he's really trying to talk his way out of this situation. And Alan joking about Charlie marrying Rose is really ableist, and so is a lot of the rest of the episode. So I'm not going to be quoting those jokes and such. But I will admit that I used to really like them. And now I just feel really bad about still liking them. I love Charlie teaching Jake about sex and how you have to treat the person afterwards. I love Charlie freaking out when, at the door knocking. I really love that they get Charlie Sheen's father to play Rose's father. Yeah. Knock yourself out. I'm sure we're gonna try. And Charlie keeps trying to talk out of it, and Harvey doesn't let him. I'm sorry, what was the topic of conversation? He wants to know what your intentions are towards Rose. My intentions are good. I think everybody who knows me would say Charlie Harper's got good intentions. His actions, on the other hand, are usually selfish and asinine. And then, Alan, stops talking on it. What, the peanut gallery taking a break? That's your defense? I didn't say it was a good defense. You'll have to forgive my brother. He thinks with his penis, and his penis isn't very bright. And, Evelyn, they answer the door. It's Evelyn, and she's, hold on. Listen, I'm in the neighborhood, and I know Charlie hates it when I just drop by unannounced, so I thought I'd call first. I think there's already been the episode where she says, when I call first, you aren't here when I get here. And there's an episode where she said, if I'd known that, if I'd known that Jake wasn't going to be here, I would have called ahead. And, Charlie's like, oh, well, now we know that for next time, so we can get out of, I think God gives us children so that death won't come as such a disappointment. That's a good start. How do you want to finish? Simultaneously. He is smooth. And of course, Evelyn talks about how Harvey is in bed. I just want you to hit him with a shovel. Come over to my house and come over to my house and hit him with a shovel. Garden shed, shovel, bag of lime. That makes it quite clear. No, so you wanna knock him out, and then he goes to the hospital, and you get no. It hit him so hard that I'm fairly certain that that's what you would use lime for in this particular situation. Now, that brings us to that voodoo that I do. I quite like the character of Mia and the actress, both here and in other things. Honestly, primarily, I'd have to say, yeah, primarily what I remember her from is the Charmed episode. Or it used to be before Mia, rather, I suppose I should say. The man's got a heat-seeking missile in his pants. I love how badly Charlie fails the first conversation with Mia. Let me see if I can recall. It's like, he's like, "Hi, I'm Charlie. Don't care. And you are not interested." I'm sorry if you reject me once you get to know me, you know, I could take that, but getting rejected just out of hand like this is a bitter pill to swallow. Would you rather I give it to you as a suppository? Well, to be perfectly frank, go. Do you hear that? It's a fat lady and she's singing. It's a shame you can't let your penis sniff a piece of her clothing. I'm confused. Is she a mountain or a fish? Doesn't matter. Either way, I'm going to scale her. See, if she was a mountain, he would climb her. And if she's a fish, he's going to stick something into her. And, yeah. I love Berta's monologue about why she supports Charlie in this. You remember my name. That's got to count for something. I wrote it down in case I need to call the cops. I love Charlie lying about Jake and ballet. You know, like, to Mia, it's like, oh, okay, sure, she doesn't know. But to the audience, like, are you kidding? And I love Alan's face when he hears Charlie say, learn to dance to Jake. And, you know, okay, that might have been bad parenting on my part. You know, he's like, okay, if I can convince Jake to at least try it, are you gonna let him? I guess. Great. You're gonna learn something amazing. Sex? Oh, this is better than sex. What? How would he know? How much you want? $10. $1,000. And then he's like, you know, that doesn't seem, you know, very ethical. Yeah, I'm the one on shaky moral ground here. And, you know, Jake gets a crush on Mia, of course. It's like watching a dog chase a car. He'll never catch it, and even if he did, he couldn't drive it. That's my motto. You know, it's harder than it looks. I don't know, it's pretty hard to watch. Thanks. The dancing training montage is very funny, and Jake does get really good. I saw in the info that you know, the actor Angus T. Jones, I think, won an award for this episode. I wonder if this episode was part of that. I mean, he really, I mean, from when they wrote this episode, they knew that he was going to have to get into fairly decent shape, and he got there. You know, that's not a body double. You can see his face. And we're back. I hope we didn't lose too much. Now, let's see. No woman is worth this, and he walks off stage. I am so proud. Our little boy is growing up. And Madame and her special friend. I really, really like this episode. I love Jake praying and the whole discussion about it. And April Bowlby as Kimber is really good. And Berta flushes the toilet to see if they're in the shower. I wouldn't wait for me to get that. I love Cloris Leachman here and elsewhere. They have a lot of fun with her pronunciation of whores as whores. I can move a car. Oh, no, I don't let strange men touch my car. Oh, good. At least you have respect for your car. And then Alan flushes. Is she going to pull it out? No, I'm going to the opera. They can't end it until I sing. I really love how much Charlie and Norma hate each other. I'd say that April Bowlby makes Kimber and Candy distinct from each other. Part of that is, of course, the writing. I don't approve of making fun of the elderly for being elderly, but Charlie's jokes about her, how old she is, are funny. And, Charlie is told what the building would contain. Why don't you just call it the Alan Harper House of Crap? Norma chose the name. Charlie, you're not helping at all. Alan, did you really think I would? And in the opening, Alan told Jake that money alone doesn't make you happy. Now that he might get a lot himself, he can't help but think about it. And, she gives him a Rolex. I've always wanted one. I got health insurance for my family instead. I wonder if he still has it now with Trump. The question is, Alan, what do you want? And he looks at the Rolex and we hear the ticking of the clock. It's really, really good. And I really love the entire and we're back. I really love the entire conversation. First Alan just comes, I think he wakes Charlie up in bed and he's like, I feel there's something that's bothering me, and at first you just think, after the date happened and he went home afterwards, and then he's like, and then he comes to the point of she actually died, right? Having sex with, and the thing about her, she said one last thing. I think she said, "I want the watch back." And then so I've been talking to EMTs and cops for hours. You have no idea how judgmental those people are. Imagine how I feel. Yeah, you killed her. I love Jake praying and it working, the bet not working out for Charlie. Don't blame me, you're a sinner. And whoops. Meant to do that. That brings us to something salted and twisted. Alan immediately goes from "I will pay for everything" to asking Charlie to pay. And then he's like, "Oh, I forgot my wallet." "You mean this?" And he puts, "Where did you find that?" Just Charlie knew that Alan would intentionally leave the wallet behind and brought it for him so that he wouldn't have that excuse to, Yes, Jake, we see the spoon on your nose, now quit it. And Evelyn grabs Charlie's drink, or Devil and Gramps, as the voice typing got at first. And you know, Alan's like, is it really so hard to believe that a chiropractor would have to buy, you know, would be, you know, would get a story about him in the local paper? Well, unless the local chiropractor shot 4 people to death in a mini mart and then turned the gun on himself, frankly, yes. Attaboy. I really love it. Just, all I want is a attaboy. Oh, okay. Attaboy. Not good enough. Did I not say it right? Drunk out of his mind, Alan is a lot of fun. I can't believe Mom made us carry her to the, you know, hopefully the next time we have to carry her, she'll be in a helpful urn. There are a lot of jokes about how badly Charlie wishes that Evelyn was dead, how much he can't wait for it. I love you, and I am proud of your accomplishments, no matter how minuscule. And Jake promised Charlie his liver for $5. Well, I do have a few pockets of specialized knowledge. Some might call it wisdom. And Charlie's talking about the toilet seat, you know, heat accrued from thousands of ass hours. And, you know, Alan says, always trying, my entire life, trying to get women to approve of me. And how's that worked out for you? They don't approve of me. John Cryer does a really great job playing hungover. The scene there in the morning is nowhere near as funny as The Nanny when Mr. Sheffield is hungover, and, you know, everything they do at the table is loud, but again, you know, you can't top that, so yeah. And Berta can't help but laugh at Alan. And Alan keeps sighing next to Charlie. I thought we came here to talk, not to each other. I handled my conditioning differently. I have casual, often degrading sex with my mother replacements, but we're talking about you. Forget I said that. I'm definitely gonna try. That was lesson 1. Lesson 1 sucked. Alcohol? But isn't that only a temporary solution? It's only temporary if you stop drinking. I like scallops, but they don't like you. I guess you choose your seafood like you choose your women. I disagree. I make them sick. And oops. Sansa's Village of the Damned. Another episode I love. Did I say at the start of this video that I love this entire season? I think I might have, but it bears repeating. I really love this season. I love all 3 of these seasons so far. And what I remember of season 4 I also love. Charlie, right? Well, I guess it's too late to deny it. And just, he cannot remember her name. Just, and he keeps trying to get her to say it. And then, you know, when he realizes Sandy's with Alan, not him. Oh, thank God. I was afraid I was going to have to quit drinking. Because he's like, I seriously do not remember, you know, this woman. If I so thoroughly don't remember her, maybe I'm going to have to quit drinking. Maybe my brain is taking too much damage. I don't know. I've never seen her pitch. He just can't let go of Sandy Koufax. Our mothers always said, here's $10 for pizza. Don't wait up. I think she said something like, my mother always said, a well-fed man is a happy man. I love the Harper's Christmas family tradition. Marriage, boredom, alimony, death. Bippity boppity boo, isn't that from Cinderella? You don't think that bitch was a nester? See, that's a bunch of the time the show is basically on Charlie's side. You know, he turns out to be right about a bunch of things. But every so often we see just how utterly, like, dude's got issues. He watches Cinderella and he's like, oh man, you will never get rid of that woman. Just, wow. That's not something you see in the movie. That's him projecting stuff onto the movie. I mean, that movie has some issues, but I'm not gonna get into that here. But her being a nester is not one of them. I love Berta's reaction to Sandy and vice versa. But it's my kitchen. So what? I thought it was important to point out. I'm on it. Good. Because otherwise she's gonna be. Because now I have the proper tool. Literally telling Charlie, if you don't get her under control, I will stick this thing up her ass. And that would be nice. Sandy talks to Charlie like he's a child, and he responds by talking like he's a child to her. She's so motherly, and he's never had a mother. Both brothers have gained a lot of weight in just 3 weeks, and pick on each other over it. Who made a meatloaf sandwich by taking a slice of meatloaf and putting it between 2 other slices of meatloaf? Someone's a meatloaf fan. Hey, people who live in fat asses shouldn't throw waffles. Sandy's decorated so much. Alan, your kid would join the Taliban if they made their own s'mores. Afterwards, I took a little nap and woke up in Santa's village of the damned. And, you know, Charlie's telling Alan when to have a talk with Santa. After dinner, you Nimrod. Who moved the reindeer? I don't know it, but I'll give it a shot. Who moved the reindeer? The Savior's come. He's coming to check on the reindeer. It wasn't me. Don't look at me. I may have used one of them as a swizzle stick. Okay, no harm done. But if you must, remember, and she goes over the entire order, and it's Darna Blitzen, Darna Blitzen, Darna Blitzen. What did I say? Darna Blitzen. And then Alan, you know, we see Alan lying awake. He's like, Darna Blitzen, Darna Blitzen. And she touches his back. And Sandy continues to freak out over Christmas and Santa. So you believe in Old Testament vengeful Santa? Are you mocking Christmas? He sees us when we're sleeping, you know. Right. I don't make the rules. She just thinks them up and writes them down. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. And Sandy's just sitting there flicking the lights on and off over and over. Mama's right. I'm a naughty girl. And then, you know, Charlie and Jake show up at her door, and the walls are thin and I'm impressionable. Hold on. Stanley, put your pants back on. We'll exchange gifts later. And let's see. That brings us to that special tug. I love the therapist's face as Charlie talks about how little he trusts her profession. And the thing with, let's see, she's like, whatever you say in this room stays in this room. Like Vegas, except there's no way you're leaving here with more money than you went in. Yeah, like Vegas. They really do make Alan completely unbearable in this episode. I'm not sure if this is necessarily one of my absolute favorite episodes, but it is really, really funny. I think I don't find it as funny when Alan's the one being unbearable, I guess. Alan's complaints about movie theaters would do really well as a series of tweets. I love Alan freaking out, grabbing books. I mean, why doesn't anyone speak Sumerian anymore? I don't know, because I haven't read the book. I felt a little ashamed, because you feel his behavior reflects on you, because I left him there. You left your brother in the bookstore? Not permanently. I came back and got him when he was all cried out and it was time for the movie. You still went to the movie? Hey, I ordered those tickets online. They don't refund those. How much crap did you buy? Hey, they couldn't change 100. Plus, they made a lot of money by advertising all the stuff in this episode. And then, he's like, okay, give me a goober. Oh, I didn't get any goober. And oh, perfect. The one thing that I want, didn't get. And Charlie's like, please, quiet down. The First Amendment gives me the right to yell goobers in a crowded theater. Goobers! Poor Charlie trying to calm Alan down in the movie theater. And, there's, if you could play the is it movie trivia? I don't know, we don't have it here. Where he has to guess the movie titles or something. I bet you're good at it. And he's like, and he reads it and he's like, oh, come on. Do you need a hint? There's a hint in the corner. And, I think 3 or 5 times he reads the thing and then, because it's so obvious what the answer is like, Pirates of the Blow Out Your Ass. Because it's crap. It's not even interesting crap. It's the crap that bores the crap out of crap. Poor Alan in the car on the way home trying to cheer Charlie back up. Poor Alan, he just wants to see Jake, and then Jake's like, that doesn't count, there's just my stupid dad. And, they're like, the woman who's, in charge of the kids is like, I'm gonna go grab some ice cream, you watch them, and leaves and drives off, speeds off. She ain't coming back. When she finally came back, she was reeking of Old Spice and pot. And she didn't even have any ice cream. And, they're talking about what to discuss in therapy. Dad, dead. Mom, killed him. And Charlie pushes Alan out of the no longer driving car and drives off. So you just left your brother on the road? He couldn't believe it either. You in a hurry? Doesn't that undermine the whole pay-by-the-hour payment model? Go on. And Charlie wants to get with at least one of the 2 drunk girls, but then Alan speaks up. And they really want to listen to it, and then Charlie tries to pretend to be sad too and have sad stories. Are you saying I have to get you liquored up so I can get laid? In Charlie's defense, he does try to share. He could be petty and want both girls. What do you think about this for the new drapes? Too small. And Charlie stands behind Alan, imagining killing him with stuff he has in his kitchen. How very American Psycho. This video is turning out much shorter than the other ones have been. Am I subconsciously... Oh, no. Humiliation is a visual medium. I'm not sure if I'm subconsciously, like, hurrying through this because I'm worried the software is gonna suddenly just stop working again, or if, like, I may have taken some fewer notes here. I don't always... I gotta be honest, sometimes I get kind of frustrated with the voice typing, and I don't record as much. I really love the dirty talk. He keeps thinking that she wants dirty talk. Let's see if I can recall. Charlie, I want to talk. You're a dirty... You know what I'm going to do to you, dirty girl? No, not about me. The opposite. I'm a dirty boy. I want to talk about us. We're a dirty couple. Yeah, all the starting and stopping is really not good for my transmission. You know, he doesn't have that good of a system left. You know, all the drinking and drugs and... So what do we do now? Take a walk on the beach? No, seriously. Oh yeah, walk on the beach, great. I've always been meaning to do that. You know, he's lived in this place for years and he's never taken a walk on the beach because that's not going to get him laid. Are you still drunk from last night, or did you get a first buzz this morning? Blotto. Berta, I think of you as family. Am I in your will? No, but neither are the rest of them. He did promise in an earlier episode that, like, both Alan and Jake would be, but his promises. I think I'm in love with Mia. Big deal. You've always been in love with Yua. And, you know, Evelyn goes over, you know, do you need this designer handbag? There's only so many ways I can help you, dear. I think it might be one of those designer drugs. Charlie, what did you take? Well, we can rule out ecstasy. That's a powerful aphrodisiac, I've heard. I'm not sure it was ecstasy, but I've heard that that's a... No, seriously, I would never do ecstasy. It makes you, like, dance. I hate dancing. I suppose there are other ways you could get that energy out of your body, but I don't want to put that mental picture in your head. Alan, Berta, so it's not just me. I give him a week before he's out on the beach humping wet sand. I think I've said it before, but I really, really love Berta. She does not give a crap, and she's so honest and, like, devastating. Like, she does not care if she, you know, upsets you with what she says, and she's smarter than, you know, a lot of people give her credit for on the show. Yet another great montage. They do really great montages on this show. I'm not sure I've seen a montage on the show that I didn't really, really like. And he dropped the bowling ball on himself. You must get really desperate. I mean, how do you stop yourself from running a red light and taunting the cop until he shoots you? Then, if you have any energy left, yank it like a monkey in a mango tree. Now there's an image. At the end, I always end up up the mango tree. I'm gonna get in my car, run a red light, and hope for a clean headshot. Of course, I don't have a $500 bet down on the ballet. And then, you know, she's like, oh, you don't have to change stuff because of me. And she puts her head on his crotch and he puts a pillow in between. You mean another woman? That would be my first choice. But for now, let's make do with the neutral term outlet. We can call it what you want. You're still asking to have sex with another woman. Only because I love you too much to whore around without asking permission. I can't go back to the mango tree, Mia. Compromise. How do we compromise? Are you going to have sex with half a woman? Is that an option? Oh, what you need is a maidmer. No, I want to apologize, but have my dignity intact. Oh, you sad, naive fool. Mia and I aren't married. Are you having sex? Go on. You didn't have to do that. Whoa, 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 I accept your apology. You could stop apologizing. It's you know. So, bottom line, no sex for Charlie with you or anyone else for the foreseeable future. Charlie actually thinks it would be fair for Mia to give up dancing if he's going to give up sex. But dancing is my life. Now we're on an even playing field. And, you know, Mia throws the flowers at him. See? That's why you didn't get a waffle iron. Just briefly to get over, You gave your wife a waffle iron? What can I say? I was young. She liked waffles. Or she liked making waffles, something like that. Boy, I haven't been this drunk since I took my SATs. Or as the voice tapping got at first, ass 80s. That does make more sense than SATs. Who knows what SATs are? I forgot that Candy was introduced needing to be drunk to have sex with Charlie. She doesn't need it with Alan. I love Andy and Callan. I love Andy and Callan together. They're just so sweet. Candy thought Charlie ran into the see-through door intentionally and wants him to do it again. I love her character so much. Just, you know, Mia's here. Do it again, do it again. Just, yeah, her and, you know, Kelly Bundy. I'm sorry, I do love the you know, I know I shouldn't. I just, yeah, I can't not. And, you know, Charlie's pretending that Candy is with Alan, you know. So, Alan, you know, thanks for getting the door while I entertained your date or something like that. And then I was like, what? Thanks for playing along. Quick thinking, Charlie, but he does have a lot of practice. Maybe you want some time to think about it? How could that help? Please don't tell me you've got someone in your room. No. He has to think about it after immediately denying it, so that was just a reflex. Gee, Jake, would you like some cereal with your sugar? I just don't think he knows what's funny. And... oops. Love isn't blind, it's impaired. Yeah, I'm not going to use the original word. What a beautiful sunset. Thanks. Taking credit for the sunset? Well, not the sunset per se, but I did buy a very expensive house on the beach so we can stand here and watch the sunset, so thanks. Don't even ask what I used as a chisel. Erection joke gotten past censors. I love how Candy talks like a business person to Alan about talking to Charlie. I would be very appreciative if you did. They don't do that joke with her very much. Do they do it after this episode at all? I think there might be once or twice, but yeah. I love Alan's charades trying to communicate to Charlie. And Mia heard and came in, and yeah. I love Alan chiming in as Charlie tries to talk Mia out of being angry at him. Her name's Candy. With a K and an I. Candy. think we both know why you haven't told her. Well, in that case, this discussion is moot. Candy doesn't buy that Charlie's with another woman, but... Okay, he's in Africa working as a scrub nurse for Doctors Without Borders. Story of my life. That's the story of your life? It's not always scrub nurse, but it's always Africa. Lifeboats don't mean you expect the ship to sink, the relationship, if you will. What they mean is you have a healthy respect for the power of the sea. Are you listening to yourself? Yeah, I just caught that last part, sorry. Okay, but before I cut her loose, let me float an idea by you. Sort of a win-win-win. Are you out of your freaking mind? It was worth a shot. Charlie actually thought he could talk his girlfriend into a three-way with, do we want to call her his ex-girlfriend? It's more of the girl he was with as a rebound. It was essentially a one-night stand, but she came back afterwards, but yeah. I should change your sheets, thanks. It's been real easy lately. I know. You haven't even been flying solo, have you? Berta, how about a little privacy? You want privacy? Wash your own sheets. Once I get my mitts on them, they're in the public domain. I mean, if she can't have some fun with, it's a pretty miserable, job, so yeah. And, Alan was already with Candy before he asks Charlie for permission. And then he's like, oh, Candy, want to go out sometime? And she's like, so cute. And Charlie comes to I'm sorry, I don't remember the lines. It's just, Mia's parents overheard him asking her for sex. And Candy's dressed as a Catholic schoolgirl and answers the door to Judith. You must be Jake. Yeah. And you must be Jake's grandma. Oh, that... Wow. Okay, I'll call him Father Alan. Yes, my child? Why don't you go play video games? And then Candy's like, cool. Are you proud of yourself? For what? She must be half your age. Oh, that. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah, I would be too. No. And Alan points out that Judith, the trucks, the car's been outside of her home for forever. Sounds like she got laid before the sod did. And Charlie turns a knob and starts a fire. Luckily, I was a Boy Scout in Beverly Hills. Charlie way overthinks on how he's going to greet her in bed. And Charlie accidentally throws a sock into the fireplace and he's picked it up with a poker, and Mia comes, should I ask? I wish you wouldn't. Oh man, this is really violent. It has to be violent. You can't negotiate with zombies. And Candy keeps thinking that Alan's talking to her when he's parenting Jake. And all Candy wants to do is have sex. Do you have any brothers or sisters? I do not. What about you? There's Charlie. Oh, right. I forgot. I'm not sure she says forgot, but yeah. So, do you like to read? Yeah. Have you read anything lately? You mean books, not like billboards and text messages, right? Do menus count? If I were any more ready, I'd be done. And Charlie picks up Mia, and I think he like stubs his toe going in, and then she bounces, she goes flying out. She bounces off the bed and, bounces off the bed onto the floor. I think that's enough foreplay. I guess they hit a mat under the rug. I sure hope so. I mean, dancer or not, that fall could really hurt. Poor Alan. It really doesn't work out talking to Candy. Later on, she does seem to care about him. It's not a carnival game. The object isn't just to swing the hammer and ring my bell. Well, we disagree. My girlfriend, on the other hand, doesn't know who I am, couldn't care less about who I am, and has no other, just like something about riding to draining your fluids or something. I think I love her. Whoops. There we go. My tongue is meat. And, Charlie comes running in with Mia, and Alan makes some crack. Ass. Kiss. My. Sweaty. And, Alan's talking about the little voice in the head of every long-term relationship man. Mine sounded like Alec Baldwin. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I like him so much in that submarine movie. What was that called? Would you get to the point? That's what the minister has said at my wedding. Hunt for Red October. And that's again, I mean, that's how it is when you're like, I can't remember that, and then you suddenly remember it. That was it. This is a good pace. And Jake blackmails Charlie. Do you really need an explanation for that? Do you want it to be about you? Her name is Mia. She's in the kitchen. Thank God I didn't know Anne Frank. Yeah, I think the explanation for that is like, I haven't heard from Charlie in forever or something. Let's see. Charlie, you ain't just whipped. You're something saddled and girdled. They could use you to give rides at birthday kids. You smell like a beer bottle that just fell out of Joe Camel's ass. And of course, Rose already knows everything about Mia. Let's see. Is this the first time Rose is in this season at all? And Charlie Wolf whistles at Mia, and then Rose answers with a bird call, thinking he's signaling her. And Charlie knows all the horrible things Evelyn said about him to Mia. Did you ever think you could change your life the way you have? Never. And, she takes that as, I'm making him realize things about himself, but in reality, it hits him like saying, nope, I am never going to change the way you want me to. I smell meat. Maybe it's second-hand beef. Second-hand beef? Like second-hand smoke. Some thoughtless guy sitting next to you eating a steak and, screw it. You're turning into a real ass. Well, good, then I'm finally living up to my potential. Lawnmower sauce. And this one guy starts to applaud, and immediately she stares at him. He stops. You guys are a real disappointment to God. And Rose has Jake on a retainer. Yes, schmuck seems to be the general consensus. And Gordon just can't get over Rose climbing onto the deck. And Rose dumps Gordon just like that, and Charlie's as bewildered as Gordon is. can't live with her and I can't live without her. If your plane crashed in the Andes and she died, could you eat her? Come on, Mia, come out and smell me. Mia's not here. Do I have to smell you? And Ginger's exactly the kind of person that Charlie is and the kind of person he wants. If you got cash, I could give you a lap dance at halftime. That'd be swell. They went full Married with Children with their male fantasy perfect woman. And as for those who don't already know, I absolutely love Married with Children. Might be my favorite sitcom of all time. And I've watched a lot of sitcoms. Ergo, the booty call. Excuse me. It's in there. She didn't even wake me up for the first one. I almost missed it. I've always said a 22-year-old girl is a lot like a good carpenter. No wood gets wasted. Those are fun facts. And Alan invites him to Jehovah's Witnesses and wants to tell them about dating a 22-year-old. And Rose acts as though Charlie's the one who's obsessed with her. I like the cuts where we see Gordon right on the deck and Gordon falls off the deck. What's a booty call? This is more the kind of thing that a son should learn from his father. Okay. Why don't you go ask him now? I'm going to hell. I love Alan trying to come up with what a booty call is. Rattlesnakes. Wow, Alan, you really make history fun. So when did it start meaning casual sex? Don't be silly. You don't want to rub their faces in it. You just want them to know where yours has been. And, Jake is, shows up at midnight and says, 3, 2, 1. It's my birthday, Uncle Charlie. Do you want to give... You can give me your gift now. If you leave immediately, I'll give you the gift of life. Okay. Maybe I'll try to make a pizza. Good for you. Crap. Thankfully, he was just awake enough to know that, yeah. And everyone at Candy's place walks right over Alan. Whoa! Still worth it. Happy birthday, you big dope. Why am I a big dope? And then they go over the whole thing, you stayed up all night, right? And now you feel like crap, don't you? Well, happy birthday, you big dope. How do you want it? I don't know, in a cup? Balloon animals are a very underappreciated art form, Alan. And Alan wants to cover up Candy. You don't want your family to see me. Oh, good, you understand. You're cute and smart and really, really grateful. See, I mean, that's not, she may not want to know a lot about him, but, the fact that he's smart does matter to her. You want to have a quickie in the car? Yeah, okay, but this time, let's pull over first. Boring. There's a new man in my life. Does the man know yet? Sometimes when we're having sex, she calls out your name. What about the other times? She makes me call it out. And they had more than one quickie in the car. And walk up to the door, and then Candy rings the doorbell. Don't get the doorbell. And then they walk in, and everyone is standing there looking at them when Alan walks in with Candy. So we're late. But I was having sex with this gorgeous 22-year-old woman. I love Candy's theatrical presenting of Alan after Charlie gets up the camera. There he is, kind of thing. I was wondering where you went. Whatever you're saying about me, you can say to my face. This isn't about you, Mom. Ha! I wish I could believe that. Is he mad at me? And Jake took Alan's Viagra. I don't understand. What's going on? The kid's gonna need another party hat. He could use a cup. Maybe he'll get free refills with it. You unfortunate little Schnauzer. Oh, so all of a sudden I'm a woman because I cook and try to make a nice home for you. Okay, I heard it too. Shut up. I love Jon Lovitz. Just, I don't think I've seen something where I didn't love Jon Lovitz. I have a confession to make. I've watched Little Nicky. I know. And I actually knew that Adam Sandler was gonna be in it before I watched it. Something I will never completely get over. But Jon Lovitz is amazing in that movie. You know, yeah, actually, maybe if you haven't watched it, just like do a search. It's probably on YouTube. He's not in that much of the movie, but he's awesome. But he's such a show off and is such an ass, and that's something he plays